Welcome to Gospel for Our Times Ministries. My name is Stephen Hill. Revelation is the most extraordinary and profound book in the entire Bible. It was dictated by Jesus to John, his most beloved disciple, on the Isle of Patmos. However, most of us, when we first start studying it, find it very confusing. I know when I first started looking at it and studying it, it seemed like I was in a dream. Whoa, what's going on here? I couldn't work out what was going on. And there's lots of symbols that are difficult to understand, and there are events that are repeated in different ways so that they seem like different events, but they're actually the same events. So it can be very confusing. And you know, I wish when I first started studying that someone had sat me down with this very simple outline of Revelation in a nutshell, so that I had a foundation to put all the details and understandings into. And that's what we're going to do today, is to eliminate a lot of the confusion for people. First of all, what is the purpose of the book of Revelation? And we see this quite clearly in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end of the book of Revelation. In the beginning, in Revelation chapter 1 verse 3, "Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand." Then in chapters 2 through 3, in the messages to the 7 churches, we are told 7 times the imperative is to overcome sin and to do God's works. In the middle, in Revelation 11:19, we're told the Ark of the Testament was seen in the heavenly temple, and that contains God's 10 commandments. Then, in Revelation 14:12, God's remnant people keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. And at the end, the last blessing of the book declares, "Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city," Revelation 22:14. So, the purpose of Revelation is the climax of the Bible. It is the revelation of how Jesus finally reproduces his character in his people through the 3 angels' messages of Revelation 14 and before he comes again. The first half of the book, that is the first 11 chapters of Revelation, is Jesus declaring how he will defeat Satan. The prophecy of the first 11 chapters include the 7 churches, giving the characteristics of the church through history, the 7 seals, which are the persecutions that God's people go through during these times, and the 7 trumpets outline the breakup of the Roman Empire and the woes faced by forces that support papal Rome. These 3 lots of 7s cover the same time periods, but there is an important pause and opening in all 3. It is described between the 6th and 7th church, the 6th and 7th seal, and between the 6th and the 7th trumpet. In this pause, a special event occurs after papal Rome received its deadly wound and the Pope was arrested and sent into exile by Napoleon's General Berthier in 1798. Something is opened that cannot be shut, and Christ comes with the seal of the living God. The temple of God is opened and the ark of his testimony is seen. This very, very important pause is when Jesus arrived after 1798 with the book of Daniel unsealed and with the seal of the living God. Revelation 10:7 explains that by the everlasting gospel of the 3 angels' message that Satan will be defeated. The mystery of God will be ended. God will have a people within whom he has reproduced his character. That's found in Colossians 1:27, Galatians 2:20, where we understand this mystery to be Christ in us, the hope of glory. Revelation 11 explains the disaster of the French Revolution and the power of God's 2 witnesses that are the Old and New Testaments. Then in Revelation 11:19, the temple in heaven was opened for people to get into the ark by keeping all 10 of his commandments. This includes to remember the fourth commandment, which has been forgotten. Understanding and keeping God's seventh-day Sabbath, Saturday, instituted at creation and kept by Christ even in death. So these first 11 chapters of Revelation are Christ describing to us through John how he is going to destroy Satan by restoring his church through the three angels' messages of Revelation 14. The events of Revelation were prophecy to John in the 1st century AD, but now in 2019, we can look back and see much of its perfect fulfillment in history. So now, the second half of Revelation. The second 11 chapters of Revelation outline how this great controversy between Christ and Satan finally plays out. Satan's accusations against God that he's a tyrant and that fallen humans are incapable of keeping his law are demonstrated to be false. In Revelation 12, Satan responds to God's prophecies of the first half of the book, and he says, "That may be your plan, God, but I'm not going to let that happen." It describes Satan doing his best to destroy God's people on earth through persecution, ultimately by a Sunday worship law and a death penalty for those who persist in keeping the Bible's seventh-day Sabbath. And Revelation 13 describes how Satan tries to deceive the whole world by the beast and the image of the beast in a union of church and state, that is, by the Roman papacy and Protestant America. Victory, the climax of the Bible, is Revelation 14. Victory is declared as God points to his people and says, "Here they are. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus." After this, and for the rest of the book of Revelation, Satan is a defeated foe. In Revelation 15 and 16, the plagues fall on those who have not heeded the warning of the loud cry from God's people. Revelation 17 and 18 explains why the plagues fell and show that people had no excuses because they were given a clear warning and an example in the glorious character of Jesus demonstrated by his remnant people. In Revelation 19, Christ returns. Then there is the millennium, a new heaven and a new earth. So this amazing story of Revelation is told using powerful symbols. A woman represents a church, a whore represents an apostate church, a beast is a political power or kingdom, the abomination of desolation is the union of church and state that always results in persecution. Mount Zion is God's remnant people, an angel represents a message or messenger. So what is the point of all of this? The main points are that the climax of the Bible is about the ultimate revelation of the character of Jesus Christ and his people. It is Jesus declaring how we will defeat Satan, then Satan trying to deceive the whole world, then God's victory through his remnant people, then the plagues fall, and then Christ returns to take his people home. And the universe is completely cleansed of all sin, pain, and suffering forever. This is the glorious cause of God. Wouldn't you like to be more involved in this? Do you think it's time to get into the ark? Watch out for our next installment where we will be explaining how people can get into the ark now and be ready for Christ's return. Thank you for listening. God bless.